Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and Aftershow. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, due to a Windows update, unfortunately, I'm in a position where I've actually got nothing set up. The computer has literally just started, and just so I can get the show up and running and on the road, I've started recording before I've done anything. But it does give me a reasonably useful opportunity to actually show you how I set up the show and see how long it actually takes to do this. So I'm going to rattle through it as quickly as possible if there is a little bit of dead air. Let's just see if I can get my entire screen up. There we go. Oh, let's do it. Okay, so starting with my control room. And I need to pop out the chat for all of these good peeps. Typically this is something that I just do not want to show anybody. As in, it looks a mess. And only on the fly do I ever sort of show this happening, but I don't know, it's quite nice, in my opinion, to actually show you what it takes to put this show together each day. So then we've got our Discord server. And our audio desk, which we'll put down here somewhere. And we've got VLC. Just plays a background video. Okay, then we've got Hangouts. As I'm well aware, this is going out to the more limited audience on the Nathan Oakley channel. So welcome one and all. Okay, next we've got Skype. Already a few people waiting, so if you were around for the live show today, my apologies for the delay. As you can probably see, this is the reason why. Hello, those of you in Discord. Take you off mute, hopefully you can hear me. So there's my little VLC video. Invite people. So that. Okay, cool. So the show is already scheduled. things around a little bit, get it tidied up. Hello, who's that?
Righteous Force.
Hey, Righteous.
Morning.
Can you hear me in Discord?
I don't think so. I didn't get an echo. I'm unmuted there. Wait, let me check.
You're not server muted in Discord. I might need to...
Yeah, I should hear an echo and I don't.
Okay, so I might need to refresh it. Or leave. That's the way to sort it. I'll come back to that just because I'm setting other aspects of the show up at the moment. I'm nearly there.
No rush.
The computer had a Windows update, and that chewed out about an hour.
Oh, I thought it was because of the conference that you came late.
No, not at all.
All right.
I'm nearly there. Cool, I think we're ready to go. Right, let's sort out Discord. So I need to leave Discord. Refresh it. Check. Can you hear me in there?
No, I don't even see your mic flashing.
Ah, damn it. Fair chance that the Windows updates wiped out all of my settings for everything. Okay, let's just have a look. Voice and video, right? Cable B. No, that's incorrect. Messed with all my settings. That's so annoying. Check.
Yeah. I can hear you there. And me.
I can hear you.
We can hear you too. Okay, cool. So you just need to server mute yourself in Discord then, so you don't get a load of echo.
Yep.
So
sometimes I use it for my wireless mic Discord, so sometimes I switch back and forth.
Okay. It looks like we're all set.
Yeah.
Is it just you and I in Google? I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't get on. I can't get on. Excuse me, I can't get on Google.
Okay, in that case, 10th, I'll just try and refresh it with a new one then. I'm sorry, Righteous, I'm going to end the call in Google.
No worries.
I'll start a new one. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so can you hear me, 10th? Can you hear me? Wonderful. Well, if you can hear me, I've sent now a new link in Master B. Can't hear anything from you, 10th man. Can you say something or anybody in Discord just to check I haven't got another issue?
Testing.
Perfect, thank you. Okie dokie. Right, cool. Do it.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion right here, right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by quite a few people in both Discord and G+, but before I introduce those, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me in Patreon. So massive shout out to Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvault, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As The Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gifford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin', Jeranism, Joshua, Kirsten Smith, Life is Short, Matt, Michael, Nybai, Paige Love, Qatar Craig, Reinhardt, Renee, Sally, Sam, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, theflatearthchannel.com, Tina Baker, Tom Hawkins. Thank you very much to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. As I say, we are joined by a fair few people in both Discord and G+. So we've got 10th Man, Righteous Force, and I believe that's Chocolate Sane in G+. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear us, 10th Man? Choose galore with 10th Man. He's just had to rejoin from the Discord server after a load of faff and a Windows update. Hello to everyone in Discord. Got the cricket sound effect.
Good morning.
Oh no, not needed. Good morning. Very good to have you all.
Good morning.
Any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from Kansas.
Nope. Nope. Curve.
There's Paul. Hey Paul, are you having trouble getting into the Hangout as well?
I never saw the link in Skype. Let me reset Skype and try it again.
No worries. Need to mute 10th Man. I don't know if it's you causing the background noise, but I presume you couldn't get into the Hangout also. Moving on.
Correct. I could not.
Oh, even the new one. Oh, that's annoying. Okay.
Can you reshare the link? Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you reshare the link and Master B maybe?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Hold on one sec. It says, there we go. Share. Copy. Look it in Master B. I'll reshare it in there now. Done. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? Don't all go at once. No rumpusing.
Nope.
I'll take that as a no, shall I?
No axis.
Yeah, that's correct. We don't have an axis. That's absolutely correct. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Definitely not.
What about scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
Bending of a conceptual medium. Anybody? Scientific evidence of gravity?
Somebody could show me how to bend the concept, and I don't know.
You can't bend concepts, chocolate. That's nonsense. You can't bend freedom.
Ah, man.
But yeah, according to the fundies
well.
who believe they live on a spinning space monkey ball flying through space, then they've got this whole idea of conceptual mediums being bent to give rise to non-force forces that you can think of as a force but aren't actually a force called gravity. Amazing, really.
That sounds fascinating.
Sounds like bullshit.
That too.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, but I got 3 ballers to concede the apparent size changes, so that was interesting.
What does that
Because
mean?
they always defend and never change the size.
What's that word? Apparent? What does that mean? Exactly?
Apparent, yes.
What does that mean?
Not actual.
So you've got them to concede that the not actual size of the sun changes. That's
Good.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
It's progress.
Good.
Sounds like progress to me. Hey,
I
Paul.
don't think we have any more of the smaller pallets left.
Can you repeat that, chocolate?
Waiting to wrap the rest of it.
Is that just someone else in Chocolate's background? Or is that actually Chocolate speaking?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to mute. Sorry.
No worries.
I had to refresh my system to get the Skype to refresh, so I'm over here now, over in Google Plus.
I had all sorts of issues. The PC updated Windows, and upon doing so, it wiped all of the sound settings for everything. So Discord wasn't lined up correctly, and I don't know whether or not Skype will be correct. Hopefully so. We'll see. Anyway, any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No. No evidence.
What about the presupposition itself, the R value?
No, it's a presupposition. Begging the question. Reification.
That concludes the housekeeping. You'll catch some of the videos from Amsterdam?
Yeah, I got a little bit of it.
Fortunately, there's no way for me to monitor the audio, and my phone just wasn't up to the task again. I'll have to get a new phone, I think, or I'll have to do something about the audio because it's garbage. I managed to solve my power issue, which was to say I bought a power brick. Hey, Arwin. And that meant I could just live stream. And having paid for Wi-Fi in the venue, I actually got quite a good connection, but it's just, the audio wasn't quite loud enough. It was audible. It was a nice level in the auditorium, but just not loud enough to record. So I went back, and you couldn't hear Karen B at all. I was really gutted. But there we go. Such is life.
Hello.
Hey, Arwin.
Hey, Arwin.
Hello.
Have you actually thanked Ranty yet for your camera?
I think not face to face.
No. Have you contacted him, like via Skype or text or phoned him or anything like that?
I don't have his phone number, and I was trying to find his Skype, but it's like snowed under. All the conversations.
Is that a no? You haven't thanked him yet?
Well, not direct. Oh, wait, here it is. Damn it. No, look, I've dedicated the entire Early Bird show this morning to thanking him. So.
Oh, fair enough. I didn't know that. Oh, my bad. Okay, I didn't know that. Sorry, I didn't tune in. I was having issues.
All right. Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. The
didn't
trolls
know.
already got hold of this one, and they've been slapping it in my face for like.
I tried to quell that because I said in one of the comments, because Ranty was like, "Oh, he hasn't thanked me," and I was like, "Actually, he did, but he just didn't do it on the live stream." And well, obviously, you'll know we had the conversation, but I was like, "No, he could have said it on the live stream." And you're like, oh, well, I didn't think. And it's like, oh, well, that'll get criticism now. And it did. But, immediately, Arwin was extremely thankful. He just didn't get caught on live stream because he was being told by me where to stand and what to do. And, he's just got a new camera. So he's kind of, and he's a bit frazzled. He's in Amsterdam. So he's a bit overwhelmed when he did the little video. He just didn't think, oh, this is a really key moment that I should be thanking the person that gave it to me. And he did, literally almost immediately after I stopped the live stream. So just to clear any doubt that Arwin wasn't grateful, he was. He made that clear. And I was like, how can you Skype him? And I don't think you didn't have a phone to Skype him on, correct?
My phone doesn't even have internet.
Right, so that's what I mean. You didn't have an ability to, but you were grateful. You did pass it on, and I you could blame me if you want, because I didn't pass it on to Ranty. But I've just been, travelling and busy. But yes, just to clear anything up, Arwin was definitely grateful. He just hasn't as yet managed to actually express that to Ranty, which is a bit crap. And there we go.
Well, yeah. Well, if he'll come on, I'll say it face to face.
Sure,
that's all fine. I am thankful.
I'm sure. Like I say, I just knew that the reaction from the public would be based only on a small 2-minute video. That's the entire reality that takes place. But that's just the mentality of some viewers when they're trolling you. So, I knew that would be the case, which is why I sent it to you at the time. I was like, you didn't say thank you on the recording. But anyway, it's just one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, you really just came and gone quickly.
He did explain to me that it has an infrared lens cover on it. Do you realise that, right?
A what?
So it hasn't got. I noticed that it hadn't got a lens cap. He's presumably lost it, like Anthony did. But what it does have is covering up the actual lens is an infrared screw-on lens. So if you try and just use it, it'll probably just be a black screen.
No, I've used it.
Well, it's got an infrared cover on the front of it.
Well, I didn't see that. It just looked all normal.
Yeah, because it's very flush fitting. But I had a look and I noticed it in the video that it definitely has. Ranty's, he knows how he shipped it more than I do. But that's what he told me.
All right.
So
I'm sorry. I'm not that smart with cameras yet, so.
I didn't notice either. It's not like we're expecting you to immediately be a master of the P900. I mean, the only thing I would say is buy a tripod. Don't make the same mistakes as Ranty.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely was gonna do that, because also I proposed it to my audience, because they gave me all this sudden money for me supposedly going on the Globe Lite tour, but that didn't work out. I got sick as I expected I would from the stress and shit. And then I said, okay, can I buy a tripod with it? Well, some of them actually wanted their money back, and I refunded it. And the rest said, that's excellent. Just do that.
Oh, well, that's good then. So that's perfectly reasonable. Because I remember when it came up in Amsterdam, I was like, well, as long as you give them their money back, because obviously they're contributing for a specific thing, and if you don't do that specific thing, the only right thing to do is give them their money back. But on the other hand,
of course, and I got a lot. Like, I did have some expenses in Amsterdam, because everything is freaking expensive there, but it wasn't that bad at all. So I got a surplus. I think I could probably use all of that for the tripod. I don't know. I really want a good one, though. So not one that's going to break after half a year.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to do some research.
A wise investment. I would suggest, if you're going to buy a tripod, focus on the portability aspect of it more than anything else, because I've got several tripods and they rarely get used because they're bulky. So, having it be fold up to be maybe a foot long, that would be ideal, just so that you can actually carry it around and will actually carry it around, because
I can fit it in my bag.
Exactly. You want it to be, light enough and small enough so that it's not a big fuss to have to carry this stupid big tripod around. But when you do actually use the camera, there it is, ready to be used.
Right. Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
I'll definitely do that.
Go ahead, Darren.
I was say, Arwen, if you send me a message via this, then I'll give you some advice on tripods and heads that would be best for your 900.
Okay, that sounded like a probe droid from the Empire. That sound quality.
Yeah, you need to get a bit closer to your mic or something. Turn the line up as much as I can.
Yeah, sorry, I was saying if Arwen can give me a message, I'll message him some information on the best tripod and head for his P900.
Okay, thanks. That got through. Do you have my Skype?
I don't.
Okay. Well, it's very simple. Every video that I've published in the last few months, or in the all the early bird show have my Skype address at the top in the description. So if you could add me there, that would be great, and we can talk.
Yeah,
chat.
it's
We'll
very
go on the Skype and I'll just do it now.
cool. You're right though, Darren. It's very important to get a good head, because if it's a cheap head, it'll judder as you rotate it through that axis, and that's just annoying. You want it to be, nicely balanced and fluid as you move it. So yeah, these things can get expensive, but on the other hand, is it Manfrotto? They do some relatively inexpensive ones that are relatively compact, but again, you've got to buy a decent head to go with them, and anyway, I'm sure you'll get a decent one. It's
Yeah, I use Manfrotto. I've always used Manfrotto for the last 20 odd years, and they're so reliable. They never let you down, and they're so rigid and robust.
yeah, they're the business that they're not cheap, but nothing good ever is. So yeah, you can get a tripod for $10, but they're just garbage. They're not very steady, and they don't have a nice action when you move them through that axis when you rotate the head. Normally it's built in, so they don't fold down very small. There's loads of disadvantages to cheap ones. The Manfrotto ones tend to be nice in terms of they do ones that fold down to about a foot, and yeah, you can spend hundreds of dollars on a nice carbon fiber one, but obviously don't go to that extent, and they may be $60, $70, $80 for a.
Well, I might actually. I might be able to afford something in that range. So
if it means you carry it around, then it's worth it. If you go for an extra light carbon fiber one just so you actually use it, then I'm all for it. It's just whatever makes it more likely to get carried around.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Anyway, I'm gonna look into it.
But it's important. Part of the reason that the gyroscope footage all looks so good is because it's gyro stabilized. The drone footage, sorry, and a tripod's almost as important. You can spend easily hundreds of dollars on sliding jigs and various other things for cameras just to get one little shot over 2 or 3 feet. Well, in this instance, when you're doing potentially very long distance photography, the stability of the tripod's critical. It's really important. So spending a bit extra on it, I'm all for it. Getting a decent tripod. I spent months and months trying to. I can't believe I'm bad-mouthing Ranty when it's his camera is the only reason we're having this conversation. Now Arwin's camera. But yeah. Yay. I'm sure he'd agree with me if he was here. Big shout out to Ranty, by the way. His show is getting really good. So unfortunately, I was monitoring my own chat and had to watch it recorded as opposed to live. But I watched through his show yesterday, and it's just good. Ranty's doing a really good job. His prowess as a YouTuber is improving with every show he does. So check out Ranty Flat Earth channel if you haven't already. And Darwin, of course, but you get plenty of plugs almost daily here. Check out the Early Bird show too. But yeah, Ranty Flat Earth, he's been putting in the time and effort, and it's really showing.
Yeah, he has. Definitely.
And it was nice to hear him yesterday talking in his expertise area. So they're having quite an in-depth discussion about long-distance photography. And it's just, Ranty was really in his element. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He's got plenty of experience in doing it, in practical application. And it just shined. It just really was a joy to listen to somebody knowing what they're talking about and giving, their testimony about their experiences in this regard. And it's obviously very subject matter specific to us in this arena, Flat Earth. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend anyone went and watch that show from yesterday. It's just called Ranty Flat Earth Chit Chat. But it was really good. I think he had Toady, he had Gleam, and he had Spurs, obviously, and Ranty himself. But he looked like he was like his second nature to him. He's on camera as well, which I'm not. And he sat there like it was second nature. I honestly, it sounds really corny. I was proud of him. I was like, man, Ranty's come a long way.
Yep. Yeah, he's putting in a lot of effort. He's certainly taking it serious.
I kind of always knew was the case when he's first made hints that he was going to do or take YouTube a bit more seriously. I was like, yeah, I think Ranty will do well. He's got that kind of personality. And he has.
Yep.
His scheduling's a bit lax. But there we go.
Can I go back to the evidence of gravity for a second? If you
I noticed you got Einstein up. Yes, I've got you presented, Paul. Go ahead.
I was watching this video from Stanford on the Einstein's general theory of relativity, and the professor has been, walking through even reference frames. He goes through reference frames. He goes through even I forget Galileo's understanding or somebody that are starting of a flat gravitational force and what that would do and all that stuff. But he came to this, and he's talking about the force of gravity. I don't know if you can see it over his left shoulder. He draws a diagram with a thing with a ball hanging on the end of it, and then a weight over to the right here. And he said the value of the force of gravity would be G equals 6.7 times 10 to the negative 11. Now, I think I remember Anthony saying something about this when they were doing the Cavendish thing. How could you ever derive, if the force is that weak, a sideways force with that such a low value? That's a question I had about this. I know obviously we already know the answer, but they're saying the force of gravity in the Einstein equation would be that force, that low of a force. So, but that can account for gravitational attraction, account for particles being pulled back down. So, but the force is so weak, I don't know. It just didn't make logical sense to me, even when I was watching this video. I think I was about.
I want to clear it up for you. Gravity is not a force. Just to clear that up, just so it clears that up and draws a line under it. Gravity is not a force.
No, I agree. I don't how can you derive a phenomenon from that value though? A natural phenomenon.
No, they don't. They don't do that either. So no, it's the bending of a conceptual medium known as space-time, giving rise to a non-force force that you can think of as a force called gravity. This is out of date gravity that you're discussing now.
Oh, I know. It's just an observation watching this video on it, and he did do a good job talking about reference frames, though. It was good in this first part. So now I can understand where the idea of reference frame came from. It's actually from Einstein. So.
Well, no, Einstein didn't come up with reference frames. People were capable long before Einstein of describing reference frames.
I thought it was. He talked about it in the beginning of this. I thought it was attributed to Einstein. I misspoke.
Things being relative was definitely within people's comprehension before Einstein. Relativity, that's Einstein, but that's not, relative frames of reference. That was definitely, people could definitely comprehend that before Einstein.
My bad, Dan. Misunderstood. Need to keep studying a little bit more. It's just interesting watching this video and trying to understand it. And it gets to the point, too, I think I'm about halfway through it, but it all becomes mathematics. And he talks about the stars and the moons and the planets and the Jupiter and all this stuff, but there's nothing but empirical. It's all mathematically derived from. He even gets into it in this.
Right.
That's it. Nothing in depth. Just an observation in a video.
Cool. Gravity seems like a dying rhetoric. It seems like the more time elapses, the more we see mainstream quote-unquote scientists going, yeah, gravity's a joke. And twitchy pseudoscientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson getting very defensive when they're having to talk about it.
I have noticed too, when they talk about mass, I was watching some other ones on mass, and they interchange, they say mass, weight is not mass, but they interchange mass and weight all the time in the description, like how much something weighs on X. But then they talk about how much the Earth weighs, and I thought to myself, how can you weigh the Earth? You can't. There's no way. It's like I weigh myself on a scale, but how do you weigh the Earth? Of course, that's where they get into Cavendish, and supposedly through his little balls in the shed, figured out the weight of the Earth. But I don't know. It's crazy that they interchange those two and say weight is not the same, but they use weight to measure mass. I don't know. Just crazy talk, as far as I can tell at this point.
Yeah, it's one equivocation after the next. So if they're not equivocating between these two different types of gravity, when they're describing it in more detail with mass, they're equivocating between inertia and mole. So it is the equivocation game with gravity. How many different descriptions can you flick between being a force, not being a force, thinking it as a force? The fact that we've got the double speak nice and concise from George Musa recently is really useful, because you can just quote him off as being a double speaker. Gravity's not a force, but you can think of it as a force. What? Can't bend concepts. It's just as simple as that. This whole nonsense will soon die, and it seems like it's halfway dead already.
In order to die, you have to actually exist. So, yeah, not dying. It's just, it was never there. Things move depending on where they are, what they're made of, and somebody wanted to give that a name. That's all gravity is.
Yeah, the first part of this video was interesting too, because he actually talked about Galileo, and he used basically a flat Earth model in his description. He said, of course, the professor used the caveat. Well, he knew the world was round, but he used a flat Earth model in his description of gravity. I thought that was interesting. Let me see if I can find the quote here. I don't want to play the video and get a copyright strike. Let's see.
Scrubbing through the transcript.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Take you off till you find it, but then if you just want to read it off once you do. Oh, have you found it?
I did. This is nevertheless true. The approximation where the Earth is infinite and flat goes on and on forever, infinite and flat. The gravitational force doesn't depend on how high you are, basically. So he's describing it as infinite and flat. That's what Galileo said in his understanding of gravity. And the gravitational force is the same at the highest level as it is at the bottom level. Where Einstein, it fluctuates depending on how far away you are. He goes into all that.
Cool.
I see a common denominator between the NASA papers, the aerospace agencies that work with NASA, and the phrase flat stationary Earth in all of their descriptions. If the Earth is actually round and spinning, why do they have all the references to a flat stationary Earth?
Because it's flat and stationary.
Those are the moments that they have to actually focus on the really is, as opposed to the imaginary.
Yeah.
So when they're actually going to put a plane in the air, they actually have to work with how the world really is. Right?
Yeah. If you're building buildings, you're dealing with a flat plane. If you're flying aeroplanes over a flat plane, you're not going to calculate for a never-ending drop that you don't see, because that would cause problems. So you calculate for it being flat, because it is.
So, Chocolate, do we want to talk on the really is level now?
It really is flat.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny
for practical uses, yes. The world is practically used as a flat plane.
Yeah, it came up on the Discord the other day too. I think Chocolate, you were on there, where the actual manuals start out with a flat, non-rotating Earth, right? Remember that? And of course, I think it was Anik that was saying, but then later they calculated in Earth rotation and curvicity. So as they start out flat, but then they have to work the other stuff in. And I go, then why'd you even start with to begin with? If your nature of reality is curved and rotating, why did you start flat and moving? You know? It doesn't make sense.
Well,
And then,
It's scientism placement. You can explain it very easy with real things, but they want people to believe it's a ball, so they place their heliocentric ball scientism in it, unnecessarily so. But
well,
the
and
people believing will recognize that part and then latch onto that.
one, and to kind of give QE kudos is I found a testimony of, I think he was a tank gunnerman said that in the manual it does talk about Coriolis. He says in the manual it does. He says, but in practicality we never use it. He says, you know, even in a real fire, live fire scenario, you've got milliseconds to recalculate your fire. You know, because if you don't calculate it fast, you don't have time. So you're only looking at the bare basics. You know, he says in practicality, he never used it. So, I mean, it's like, just to give QE kudos for saying the same thing. Here's somebody else saying the exact same thing he said. Because even if you come up with a manual, show that they're actually doing it, not just in a book. No Coriolis effect.
well,
No spinning.
well, there is no Earth-based Coriolis, so sticking it in doesn't matter. But we saw the sniper manual, we saw the artillery manual, and they all said that the Earth is motionless, and they never had it as one of the references that you had to go to when you were taking aim at an object. So just to stick it in for whatever reason when they don't use it, and you can't prove Earth-based Coriolis. And if it was there, then the flight from Charlotte, North Carolina should go to LA an hour and a half, but it takes the same amount of time to go back as it took to get there. So it's just nonsense.
Nonsense is they're not even capable of getting this argument, you know, cohesive enough for themselves. I mean, they've been arguing amongst themselves about this. Some of them saying, oh, east to west is not affected. Some of them are making videos on exactly how east to west is affected, shooting bullets. So it's like, get your story straight, guys. This is why you don't have an argument. I mean, besides the fact that the Earth's not spinning and you have no Coriolis, but you guys can't even get the argument that you're trying to put forth cohesive enough. You're not even together on this. It's ridiculous. And it's just making you guys look worse and worse because you guys keep fighting amongst each other about, oh, this citation is good and this one isn't. And, well, get it together, guys. Either that or demonstrate that it's actually happening on Earth.
Well, the funny thing, Chocolate, is that they say it's mainly seen north-south or south-north. But then when you look at the airplanes that fly a north-south or south-north flight route, they aim for their destination and fly straight up. They don't aim to the right or left, depending which way they're flying, so that by the time they get there, the destination matches. You just look at the flight paths on the airline tracking systems you can just easily see online. They go straight up. And a week and a half ago, we flew from where I live up to Northern California, and I looked at the pilots plotting radar and everything. It was straight as can be. It was a 45-minute flight. How much should the Earth turn in 45 minutes? It didn't.
Best part, though, is that they say it happens north and south, but where is that seen? In reality, where is that demonstrated? Oh, you can't demonstrate it with the aircrafts that you're saying deviate north and south. The only thing you have to hold on to is hurricanes, because that's all they got. Even Zanuck this weekend admitted that it's really the only thing he holds on to, because it's the only thing in reality that they can point to. They have no Coriolis.
Hurricanes isn't Coriolis.
Say again?
Hurricanes is not Coriolis effect. The Coriolis effect is you on a spinning reference frame observing something that in actuality travels in a straight line, but because you rotate underneath it, it appears to deviate. Now, hurricanes aren't an apparent deviation. They have actual spin rotation directions. Well, that's an actual deviation, if you will. Not a not actual deviation because you're observing a straight line of wind seem to deviate. Now, that's not Coriolis effect in the slightest. In fact, it has about as much to do with Coriolis effect as them flushing toilets and observing which way the toilet water spins. Zero to do with anything.
That's what I told him. That's what I told him. I was like, this is about as good as the toilet flush in the opposite hemisphere argument because it's ridiculous.
Well, and then actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chocolate. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say even with the hurricanes, don't they have something called anti-cyclones that go the opposite direction in the same hemisphere? So, I mean, it's just a loss all the way. Go ahead, Paul.
No, I just realized it's actually an equivocation fallacy when they use hurricanes, because for the object has to be moving in the inertial reference frame, and you're rotating in the non-inertial reference frame. So if they're saying a hurricane is the proof of Coriolis, I mean, observationally, it looks like the hurricane is in the non-inertial reference frame. So right there, they got an equivocation fallacy right off the bat. They have to show that the particles of air are moving in a straight line.
That's what I just said. Are they proposing for 1 second that the wind is actually travelling in a straight line, but only appears to deviate because you're on a non-inertial spinning Earth underneath it? No, it's got an actual spin direction, not a not actual deflection from your point of view. It's nothing to do with Coriolis, absolutely zero.
Kosho told me that once. He told me that the winds of a hurricane are literally moving straight, and the only reason we see them the way they do is because of the spin of the Earth. So, yeah.
An idiot.
That's where
they're so deluded that they would argue that hurricanes travel in a straight line. That's how deluded these people are.
Well, I think we've just found the way to argue it with them. So they're going to have to give them the reference frames and say, okay, show me that those particles in their reference frame are moving in a straight line. That's all we got to do. They've got to prove that.
They're not.
How about modeling?
Let me just say it once more, Arwin. They are definitely not. So what? This is ridiculous. To ask them to prove their nonsensical assertion, you can just laugh at them. You don't need to ask them to prove that a hurricane's travelling in a straight line. It fundamentally isn't.
But, if they claim that hurricanes are directly caused by the spin of the Earth, as it were, then could they perhaps model out the effect? Like making a simulation where some kind of spin of an object with a dense layer of atmosphere presupposed to be on there, somehow that spin would cause hurricanes. I'd like to see.
Who cares? That's not the argument. Who cares? That might be well the case. That's not the argument. The argument is this is Coriolis effect. It's very explicit. Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about...
Why it's not?
Well, I'm just saying this is definitely not an argument for some justification. It's claimed to be a Coriolis effect. And it is not.
No, indeed, it isn't. Yeah, you're right. They basically, use the word incorrectly. They attribute the Coriolis effect to an effect that no matter how you approach it, it's not that. It can't be that. It's because it is literal motion. It is literal displacement and not apparent, as you've been saying.
Literally no rebuttal, no nothing, nobody commenting from the Globe side. Just people criticising the begging that we're not doing currently. Smash the super chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Is there any Globers in the Discord server at all?
Yeah, moaning about my e-begging.
Oh, ad hominem, that's all they got, right?
Pretty much.
And also is claiming we don't understand reference frames. I got Zanuck on there the other day on Discord saying, let's talk reference frames. I think we got that, Zanuck. Let's let it go.
So 15 degree per hour deviation because what? The Earth spins underneath the gyroscope or pendulum. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got a firm handle on what their claim is. They claim Earth rotates underneath. Planes, helicopters, gyroscopes, pendulums, bullets, hang gliders, shoes. No, not shoes.
Oh, don't forget, what is it, footballs or?
Yeah, footballs. Yeah, Earth is supposed to rotate underneath. Neil deGrasse Tyson claims the football gets kicked and only goes through because Earth rotates underneath. A Coriolis effect. An apparent deviation, so from your position in the stand, it would seem the ball has taken a curved trajectory, when in reality it travelled pretty much straight, but Earth travelled underneath it, causing the goalposts to move just enough to let the ball go through. That's a Coriolis claim. Oh, a crap claim, because it's with something lasting, 2-3 seconds hang time, like a bullet? Same principle. Oh, well, they've got to account for the Earth rotating underneath this bullet. That's the claim. So, what your claim, fundy globeheads, is that you have an apparent deviation because Earth rotates underneath. That's 2 reference frames. I'm pretty certain we all understand what the claim is here. It's very simple to demonstrate, with a ball and a roundabout. So it's not complicated. It's just not apparent because Earth isn't spinning and there is no deviation to observe. Someone open their mic. Go ahead, whoever it was, and then I'll shout out Leonardo. Is that you, Chocolate?
No, I was going to say, yeah, that's the usual claim now, that we just don't understand this argument. I mean, at some point, Zanuck during the weekend said that his mission is to make me particularly understand. And I'm like, well, first of all, I understand the argument. I just don't agree with where you're coming from with it. Like, are you crazy? I understand the argument. I've destroyed you on this numerous times. It's just that you think you've got some other variation of Coriolis that none of you other Globers seem to have. So again, just get your story straight and then demonstrate it. Because the story is done. We retired this argument. It's ridiculous. Prove the Earth is spinning first. That's how I see it.
Yeah, the apparent deviation is supposed to be the proof Earth spins. So when we enter into arguments justifying the lack of any deviation, well, then you're straying away from the claimed proof of Coriolis effect that's utilised to prove Earth spins. That would be an apparent deviation because Earth rotates underneath gyroscopes, pendulums, bullets, balls, helicopters, planes, drones, hang gliders, anything that leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame. Well, if that effect, that claim to be their effect of an apparent deviation, is there in a gyroscope and a pendulum and a bullet and a ball, it would also be there in an aeroplane. In other words, Earth would rotate underneath the aeroplane, significantly reducing your travel time. Earth would also rotate underneath a drone, meaning you push the up stick on your drone and you watch it seeming to drift away from you. Now, neither of these effects actually happen. There is no Coriolis deviation beyond the claim of hang time, ball of about 2 seconds, bullet the same, very little hang time, but a claim Earth's rotating underneath it all right. It just doesn't manifest in an aeroplane, drone, hang glider or anything else with a significant hang time, unlike a bullet or a football. So these claims of Earth rotating underneath need to be backed up with an actual observation of an apparent deviation. Apparent meaning it seems to drift away from you when you push the up stick on your drone, as opposed to what actually happens. You push up on your drone, it goes up, and but for a bit of breeze, when you push down, it lands exactly where it took off from. It's not having to gain extra velocity because it's going up in altitude on a sphere and actually increasing the circumference it has to travel because it's going on a wider outside edge of that claimed sphere. Therefore, the angular velocity they claim is retained when they argue against there being Coriolis deviation would have to increase, violating the first law of thermodynamics. So you've got these total nonsense rhetoric bullshit to get around the simple fact, we don't see deviation. If we did, planes would be getting to a destination in the west, when travelling west, far, far sooner, because Earth would be rotating underneath. And the continent or country or destination you are travelling to is actually coming towards you as Earth rotates underneath, shortening a flight from, say, Charlotte, North Carolina, which is about a 4.5 hour flight. It would shorten it down to about an hour and a half when you calculate it out based on what they say Earth spins underneath that plane. It just does not happen. You get on and 4.5 hours later you get off again, and Earth hasn't rotated underneath as they claim it does. So what do we get here on Flat Earth Debate? We argue about why we don't see deviation. Oh, the Earth and atmosphere are travelling as one. Now, hopefully, the audience have got to the point where they realise that as soon as they say that, they're arguing against the claim proof Earth spins. The deviation that is Coriolis effect is the proof it spins if it was there, and it isn't. That's their problem. There's just no proof Earth's spinning because it isn't spinning. It's patently obvious.
And something else I was thinking about, even if they pull up just the one sniper, that one sniper out of all the thousands of snipers, artillery, gunneries, the guys on those battleships, there's only one person that said they've accounted for Coriolis. Think about that. Just one. Now, if that was a court of law...
Hang on, Paul. Hang on, Paul. For a sniper to actually say that, the scope mounted on his gun cannot be focused on the target. It would have to be focused on where the target's going to be in the future. No sniper does that.
I'm more looking at it in like a legal sense, or Anthony's realm. I mean, even in the science realm, you gotta have peer review. I'm arguing from that perspective. I know what you're saying, 10th man. I'm just saying from the other side.
No, it's a fallacy to begin with.
Where's all the other people that are doing the same thing?
A sniper keeps his target on his scope. If it ever leaves his scope, he's going to miss his target. So for a sniper to say that he accounts for Coriolis, he cannot keep his target focused in the scope that's mounted on the rifle. He'd have to aim whichever other direction that he thinks the Coriolis and the Earth spin's going. No sniper does that. It's a fallacy. It's a lie. It's to be discredited right away.
All right, fair enough. I just want to shout out Leonardo Gonzalez. Says, hey, you guys, shout out Right the Hand. He's behaving like a scorned girlfriend, obsessed with you guys in the show because he can't join. Can he not join? I didn't know that. Thanks for the super chat, Leonardo Gonzalez. Really appreciate it. Sorry if your point's been completely hijacked, Paul. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. I was just basically saying, even in their own rhetoric, and I agree with 10th man on the sniper having to, anticipate where the target's going to be. But they've only got the one sniper. That's it. That's all I'm saying. They've got the one sniper they reference. Nothing else. Nobody else that it does it. Just one sniper. So that, I agree with 10th man on the sense of that that doesn't happen. They don't do it at all, which is my point technically. So their one sniper is basically undermined from all the ones that don't do it, all the other ones that don't do it. That's kind of my argument.
I shoot guns. I have a lot of people.
It doesn't look ridiculous to people. I'm sorry, 10th man, but it doesn't look ridiculous to people that there's only one sniper that's done this, or has said that he's done it. Like, isn't the Earth spinning for everybody? Shouldn't all snipers be doing it? Shouldn't everything be deviating? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This is how much of a joke this is.
No,
Chocolate's getting it.
Yeah, that's correct. Everything should deviate. Yeah. If it leaves the non-inertial spinning reference frame of a claim to be spinning ball Earth, it should immediately demonstrate some form of deviation. It doesn't matter how small. And that deviation would be exemplified in something that's going to be in the air for longer, like a plane. Anyway, just want to do another quick shout out to Trish Blythe. Just 1 second, take the man. Trish Blythe says, why can't Right the Hand join? I don't know. It's not actually my server, Trish. You may not be aware of that. So this isn't my server. So Right the Hand, contact the server operator if you can't join. As far as I'm concerned, everyone can join. If that's not the case, contact the server operator. As I say, it's beyond my control. But thank you for the super chat. Anyway, Trish Blythe, really appreciate your support.
When shooting long distances, elevation and wind are factors. I shoot a lot. I have a lot of people that shoot here on property, rangers, police officers, you name it, sheriffs. And we talk about it. And when you're shooting down, say from a higher platform and you have a canyon and say your target's down, well, that's going to be a different shot than if you're shooting uphill. And if there's wind, you adjust for that. But that is no way earth moving. That's wind and elevation.
Right. Another shout out to Trish Blythe. It says, who's driving the bus since Arwen's here? I don't know the answer to that. I'm sorry, Trish. Thank you for the super chat.
Yep, there's another part of this sniper and artillery and all this other stuff that they never bring up either. But it comes out, I think John covered it in the one of his Ballbuster shows, is the railgun. The railgun wouldn't even worry about Coriolis because it's moving so fast, but it would have to account for curvature. How many snipers and all these other ones account for curvature as well? Because technically, the angle and the arc would change over a spherical surface.
Well, we posted from the artillery handbook as well as the sniper manual the actual sentence that was in there, that the targets are over a flat, stationary, motionless Earth. Now, why in the world would they put that if the Earth was turning? It's in the manual. It says the Earth is not turning, and all shots are gauged by that. How much more do you want? So don't bring up manuals about shooting when they say it's all over a flat, stationary, motionless Earth. Go somewhere else to try to prove your ball is turning. Don't go to these manuals. We'll just show you that sentence.
I don't say that. I don't know what your problem is.
I didn't say you said it. That was for the ballers who keep bringing that up.
Check out this is great statement from someone in the chat. Name exclusive. Very nice play. Anyway, if Earth stopped spinning abruptly, lol, then we'd all be fucked. So yeah, Earth wasn't spinning to begin with. It's not going to stop spinning.
Presupposition.
Something Bob brought up on Globebusters Sunday was interesting. He said, that the drone that was, the video of the drone that's showing the Coriolis effect on a roundabout. The argument is that the conservation of momentum has to be conserved. He said, but if you watch that drone video, you don't see it. It's almost like it's not there. So the calculations may say it, but can you show through that video that it's actually happening? And as you can't. Like when he throws the ball, you can't see that the leftward momentum or rightward momentum is maintained when he throws it forward. It just looks like it's gone as soon as he lets go of the ball.
Of course.
That's
you might retain it for a fraction of a millisecond, but that's about it. But the other problem they've got on a spinning sphere is as you raise in altitude, your circumference is increasing in terms of your reference to the center point of that sphere. The value is going to get bigger. So therefore, you've got to cover a greater distance to stay in lockstep, which means that not only are you retaining velocity, you've got to increase it. That's a first law of thermodynamics violation. In order for them to have their rhetoric that gets around the lack of deviation they need to prove Earth spins, is a first law of thermodynamics violation. It's not going to increase velocity to match the spinning ball Earth underneath because it's got a greater distance to traverse because it's increased in altitude. How's a helicopter going to know that? Oh, right, I better speed up to match the speed of the ground beneath me. Now I'm going higher because I'm actually travelling for... No, that's not going to happen. That's just violating the first law. It can't increase its energy that it's retained from that claim to be non-inertial spinning reference frame of a claim to be ball Earth. That's just not possible. It's absolutely impossible. When we did the maths, I think Adam was like, oh, well, it's at 5,000 feet, it's only an increase of whatever, half a kilometre an hour or something like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference how much the quantity is, because I can never say that word, qualitatively, it's an increase, and you can't have it increasing because it violates the first law of thermodynamics. You can't gain energy from nowhere. It's not possible. So their whole rhetoric falls apart even in defiance when they're trying to defy the deviation that we're not, when they're not seeing the helicopter deviate. It's hovering, right? I.e. not deviating, not proving Earth spins. So they have to get around it with a violation of a law of nature. Oh, it's Earth and atmosphere travelling as one. It's retaining the velocity when it leaves the spinning reference frame to not give you the deviation. It's just a clusterfuck.
Well, they're going in the face of how gases behave when they say Earth and atmosphere are traveling as one. So now they've made a second huge blunder. First one being the Earth spins. Second being that gases, which go in every direction and bounce off even each other, are somehow clumped up and move with the Earth that's supposedly spinning. So they're dead twice. They can't go change gas law to prove Earth spins.
Well, then they're not. They're changing gas law in defiance of the effect they need to prove Earth spins. The deviation is something that they're arguing for. They're trying to justify why they don't see deviation. Why can the helicopter hover? Well, what does hovering mean? It means it's not deviating. That's what it means. It's above the same ground it took off from. That's what hovering is. Not deviating, not demonstrating Coriolis effect. So that's the beginning end of the argument, because they need it to deviate to prove it spins. So what do we end up actually arguing about? Why it doesn't deviate. So they're justifying why it doesn't prove Earth spins. Well, that's not proving Earth spins either. So they're already screwed by the time they're arguing for Earth and atmosphere travelling as one, because they're arguing for why they haven't got proof Earth spins, and working along the presupposition that it just spins underneath with the atmosphere, because so long as they beg the question, they deem that a win. But that's not going to happen anymore either.
Yeah, because if it was actually deviating, they wouldn't ever say conservation of momentum.
But that's not what their globe proof is.
Because it's actually deviating.
The retention of the retention of the claimed angular velocity of the spinning Earth isn't a proof of Earth spins. That's not proof. They're claiming Coriolis deviation is proof of Earth spin. So when they get onto this retention of the angular velocity, that means nothing. It doesn't actually prove Earth spins. It's just their justification for not having Coriolis deviation. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's panel for making this live show possible. If you are watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching live, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, if you're watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, stay tuned, as there will be an after show starting now. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
You know how to boot everyone to the after show, Righteous Force?
I'm not sure how to work that bot yet.
I don't know how to do that either, and there's too many people. Have you been unmuting people as they've been coming in?
Yeah, I increased the channel size, so...
Yeah, try not to increase the channel size, because I can't keep track of everyone. I will reduce it back down afterwards, but it's just too big, so I try and keep it to 16 or less on the live shows. That's why we have the after show. So once it's into the after show and there's if disaster strikes or the chaos strikes, hey Alan, by the way, then it doesn't matter because it's not going out live. So hence the actual live chat is much smaller. But for now, it doesn't matter. No one's there to kick them to the after show, and they're all off mute anyway. So who cares?
Gotcha.
You enjoy your toe tag, Alan?
Do I get a percentage of that?
A percentage? No.
I might have to put a strike on it then. I'm claiming copyright.
You don't own the copyright, I do. You can try.
I demand 30%.
Go on then, demand it. See how far you get.
No, I need some new shoes.
I know. Go on then, make your demand.
Nathan, a true gentleman would offer 30% of the cut.
That's not a demand. It's a weak demand.
I'm reasonable.
You want a cut of the whatever I make out of it, which is probably about $1.
All helps.
You want 30 cents. You're not having it. Tough luck.
You have a good time in Amsterdam? I heard you took funeral paste sandwiches.
I did. Yeah, my wife made me sandwiches because I was too poor to eat the expensive food there. But I knew that. I'd budgeted to get there, you know, and what I had to spend, I spent on getting there, which was the important thing.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was good. A few things pissed me off a little bit, but the conference itself was, I would say, by far and away the best one I've been to so far, in terms of the venue, the presentations themselves, the presenters, the variety of presentations. Just, it was very, very good. Dee Dee did an exceptionally good job, so hats off to Dee Dee.
What was it? Everything to meet Arwen in the flesh.
Yeah, it was nice meeting Arwen, definitely.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Had fun, Arwen?
Yeah, it was amazing. Just it was really amazing, especially to meet all the people that I've just been hearing their voices over my speakerphones, as it were, here, or my speakers, and then just actually hearing them in 3D from the person. It's just like surreal at the start, like hearing Jaren and and Nathan, and just so many Karen B, and just so many people. It's like, what?
Saying, right? Everybody.
And
That's
the
cool,
atmosphere
man.
was just buzzing with energy. It was amazing.
That's pretty
Which
awesome.
presentation did you like best, Darwin?
That's really hard to pick. They all had their own unique quality, like their own direction. And the thing also was, it was kind of compacted, so everybody had to hurry a bit. But it turned out great, and I thought that everybody's presentation was good.
Oh, don't get me wrong, they were all very, very, very good presentations, but my favourite by some margin, if I'm honest, was Karen B's. I was quite surprised. She made a few too many... My only slight criticism was she made too many disclaimers about, you might see this as New Age or whatever. And it's like, I didn't feel they were necessary. I thought her information was very well researched and presented. The only thing I'm gutted about was because she's slightly softer spoken than the rest of the presenters, it was just too low for the camera phone to pick up, which is a bit heartbreaking. So my presentation of her is essentially inaudible. And it was a great presentation. I came home and told my wife all about it. I'm like, Karen B's presentation was wonderful. Did you watch that one? She's like, no. I was like, let's watch it then. It was great. And I put it on. I'm like, oh, heartbreaking. You read through the comments and like, oh, it's a good job it's inaudible from some of the trolls. You're like, oh, that's heartbreaking. But there we go. Karen B's presentation was really, really good. As I say, that's not in any way to detract from any of the other presenters that were there. They were all really, really good. Jaren gave me loads of shout outs, so technically I should say his was the best because he was shouting me out. But there we go.
Yeah, I in retrospect, I thought that Zach's presentation was really, really good, because I didn't even realize this was like the first ever conference presentation he did, and he was nervous as fuck. But it was excellent, and it was just as good as his typical videos with so many technicals about the angles.
Times for all, Zach?
No, Dr. Zach.
Oh, Dr. Zach. Okay.
Decimal Z.
Again, his was a very, very good presentation, but I've kept up with Zach, so it's not that it wasn't a good presentation, it's just I'd seen a lot of the information prior, so
I posted the link in the panel chat, by the way.
I mean, if I'd have gone there having not known a lot of these YouTubers for a period of time, I'd have probably said that the best presentation was Dave's. You know, it was the most diverse, covered a lot of different subjects, had quite a few laughs in it, quite a few video clips. So I thought Dave was very, well polished, well presented. He had the most technical issues as well. So to say that he had the best presentation, when he came up to me afterwards, he's like, "Oh, did it go well?" I was like, "Yeah, it went." I was rushing for the airport, so I didn't have a great long chat with him. But in spite of the fact that he had the most technical issues, he still had, in my humble opinion, the most polished and well-rounded presentation. But the ones that's only because some of them were much more specific and much more focused on a given area. Who's the last guy?
Mark Devlin.
Mark Devlin. That was a really. It wasn't even really flat Earth. He was focused on sound. So it's not at all necessarily in keeping with the subject. So you can't really say he's got a well-rounded flat Earth presentation. But by the same token, it was for anybody who had not heard any of his information, they'd be bowled over by what he presented and how he presented it. And it was very, very interesting. But yeah, so if I'm not me, I'd say probably Dave's was the best presentation. But for me personally, I like Karen's the best.
Well, Dave Murphy, he definitely seems to have like this real flair for doing the presentations. He's really in his how do you say that? In his element when he's doing it.
In his zone.
Yeah, in the zone, exactly.
Did you hear Gary's?
How many times has he done it? He's been doing that for so long now.
Did you hear Gary's little story during one of the technical issues? So allegedly, Dave, he got the name. I think it was from a radio interview he was doing, and he'd come up with various other titles in regards to his Freeman research that he was doing at the time. So that was what the interview was about, and the interviewer coined the phrase "allegedly Dave," which kind of stuck. But he was at the airport. This is a story that was being told by the compere, so Gary Heather, and he's explaining that at the airport they randomly selected Dave to go through one of these, scanning machines, and Dave was like, "No, it's not mandatory. I don't have to go through. I don't want to go through." So he was taken off for a cavity search. And Gary was saying for that day, stopped being allegedly Dave and was, what was it, incriminatingly Dave, or randomly, that was it, randomly selected Dave.
Yeah, randomly Dave.
Randomly Dave, that's it. So Dave was randomly selected to go through the machines. But he explained, I didn't know that. So you didn't, on the way through into Amsterdam, I hadn't been scanned. But on the way back out, you didn't have a choice. It was just nothing but lines and lines of machines. And armed with the information that it wasn't mandatory, I watched a dumbfounded queue of people who were waiting one at a time to go through the line that was open with one machine and a couple of guards. I just walked past them all and said, "I don't want to go through the machine." And the guy went, "What?" I was like, "I don't want to go through." And he called over the other security guard, explained what I'd just said. He opened this barrier, like a little bit of string, and I just walked through. And all these people in the queue who were just like dumbfounded because they're all literally held up by the fact that they're being inconvenienced and irradiated. And I just went, "I don't want to."
Yeah, you flashed your special pass, didn't you, Nathan?
Yeah, splashed the CIA pass. I mean, MI6. No, just literally, I said, "I don't want to." I was like, "Well, I want to be irradiated today." And he was like, "Okay, on you go." It was great. Looked on the face of the people queuing was just epic.
I'll remember that when I go.
Just hope they don't change the rule and make it mandatory between now and then, because if you kick off and it's mandatory, they will just strip search you.
I definitely don't want to go through these radiation things, so I will probably be doing that as well.
Yeah, as long as you can object. I'd rather take a light pat down. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Indeed. Oh, by the way, can you hear this noise on
Yeah,
my
a little
side?
bit.
Or?
It's not too terrible.
Somebody's drilling in the wall. I'll try to mute as much as possible.
I don't know if you'd agree, but I told the other show, Gary's the other show organizer, so Dee the main organizer. But I said to Gary, I would come to this show again. You know, I actually ended up with a free ticket, but I was like, regardless of the fact that it would cost more to come to Amsterdam again, if it was put on again in Amsterdam, I would actually pay. If it was on next year to come again, because it was so nice. You know, Amsterdam is nice anyway. I knew that before I went, but you know, the venue was excellent. The location of the venue was really pretty. It was easy to travel to. So yeah, and based on the caliber of presentation that was there this year, not to jade that at all, but I found out after the fact that it was due for 2 days, but they condensed it down to 1. So I think some of the diversity I'm praising them for was just sort of a fait accompli after having condensed it down from 2 days to 1. But nevertheless, it was still a very diverse mixture of presentations on that one day. So, you know, I thought it was excellent. I really did think it was a good conference or convention or however they described it. But we'd add a bit to that, Arwen. Obviously not. Dead air is the response.
Oh, sorry. I was a bit distracted. I'm watching the Globe Lite tour now in Ghent. They're live,
okay.
so
Are they live now, are they?
Was there a question? Sorry?
No, I was just chit-chatting about Amsterdam.
Right, yeah, it was absolutely exhilarating. And now I was kind of getting in there in a kind of a weird state. But the atmosphere was just so full of positive energy that really helped. And I had a great time, and it was just, yeah, it was really good. I didn't have all that much.
Did you get to flex smack anybody, Arwen? In the
Yeah.
streets,
Well,
Yeah?
to be fair, look, I'm just kind of a shy guy. And people probably noticed that at the central station that I'm not somebody that they'll typically step forward to somebody. But I was basically up and available. And I did get to talk to a couple of people also in Dutch. And yeah, explain some things. And it was really interesting. And especially there were like these 2 or 3 Spanish girls. They were kind of cute. And they just kept on asking really vivid details. These were really smart. And I even got to explain the difference between the rectangular looping model and the disk model. And they just didn't run away or anything. It was really fascinating.
Ugh.
It's awesome, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Special treat for me was watching Jaren live stream and flat smacking people. So seeing Jaren on the streets of Amsterdam flat smacking live, that was cool. After I got back to tuning in going, this is ace, man. Jaren flat smacking people. Cool.
Yeah, there were, but we had, especially at the start, we had a huge interest. Like a lot of people, there was a lot of people that would come by and talk, and no hecklers or anything really. It was really a success, the whole thing.
Very cool.
Yep. Despite the weather being quite shitty, because there was pretty severe rain, but we were at a great spot with a roof cover, and we were allowed to do that there, even by the police and everything. So it was just great.
Do you see the van?
Yeah, I made a few photos too.
Covered in stickers now. Is it actually stickered up now?
Yeah, it's amazing. It looks really.
Did you get any pictures?
It really catches the eye big time.
Get any pictures?
Yeah. Haven't you seen them yet?
I didn't see the early bird this morning.
Oh, right.
Can you show us now?
Okay. Yeah, I need to find where I put them. Hold on.
Because up until now, the stickers that have been on it in the thumbnails have been CGI stickers.
Right. Let's see. Where did I put them?
While you're looking for them, did we get a reaction from Alan about his toe tag?
Nope.
Other than he wants royalties from it?
Other than he wants royalties.
Okay, let's see if this works.
30%.
other than the percentage you demand.
Nathan, I'm up.
Oh, cool.
So I made these with Ranties. And just for close up.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool. I didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, I saw
and
that
at
when
the bottom there,
Roxanne
there's the
was she was live streaming it, and I saw all the stickers all over the place. I was like, wow, that's cool.
The Pac-Man one. Pac-Man logo. Yeah, they look cool, don't they?
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks really professional, but not cold. It's just
who have
awesome.
we got? We've got John Smith. I don't know who the next one is. Then it's Authentic Intent. That's Nathan Thompson. And I don't know who the next one is. It looks like a telescope. I don't know who's...
Dr. John.
Is that Dr. John? And obviously Jeranism. That's Roxanne, Globalist
I can zoom in, actually.
Who's that? Phuket Word. Okay.
Yeah.
So who else we got? Scroll down.
Voyage, LA Fog. What? Iron Realm Media.
Earth.
Meteorage.
That's the app. That's Earth's app. Globebusters. Allegedly Dave.
In the lid. Allegedly Dave.
Cool. Very cool.
On Thor.
Hey, they're missing the Globe Earth Dictate.
Oh.
Globe Light Tour. Excellent. That's really good.
Yeah, it is. It looks amazing. Yeah,
I'm glad they finally got it stickered up for the actual tour.
All right, here's Karen B. Scuba Dracula. And I love these guys, but I'm kind of misplacing their names right now. Maybe you know them? This guy's from the Netherlands.
It's too small for me to actually make them out on my big screen, if I'm honest.
I suck at names. Sorry.
I'll make it bigger for the audience. I can't really make it out on my screen, to be honest. Oh, there we go. There's Karen.
Yeah.
There we go.
Anyway,
what else you got?
This was in Amsterdam. I stood up in the corner of the window, made a high up shot. And see, yeah, it was pouring, but we were dry perfectly. Awesome.
Okay, this is where you were doing your street activism. I see.
Yeah.
So is this outside the track? Is this outside?
Picture.
This is outside Central Station, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amsterdam. Check this out. Particularly proud of this one.
Did you take these with your P900?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love photography.
it in.
This is just the best picture I made, I think, in my personal opinion. It's so glorious. Everybody has a smile, or it's just awesome.
Hey, Erwin, if you don't know about it, you can actually, if you have a smartphone, you can download an app onto your phone and download the photos right off of the phone, right off the camera, right onto your phone. I don't know if you can stream. I haven't figured that out, but
I heard so, but I don't actually have a phone with internet capability at this moment.
You don't need it. You don't need a phone with as long as it's got Wi-Fi capabilities and you can connect your phone through the Wi-Fi onto your camera. It'll work. You don't need internet.
I don't know if it does. I definitely don't have it turned on. But I don't know. I've even considered just getting a more modernized phone with internet just so I could use it as I'm traveling, because I'm always depending pretty much on other people. Like, oh, could you look this up? Oh, what is the time? This, that. Because my phone is practically, you can just call people with it or send text messages. That's just it. And it is really cheap. So it almost cost me absolutely nothing. But I can barely do the activity that most people do with their phones. So
with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Also, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!